I used to work night shifts at a long-term care facility in the woods. 45 minutes from town. No public transport. No streetlights on the road end. Just dark forest pressing in from every side. Most nights, you wouldn't even see another car. The place housed 10 residents, all elderly, all fading. One hallway, 10 rooms, a front desk with phone, a black and white CCTV monitor, and coffee that always tasted like regret. I was the overnight assistant, make hourly rounds, answer calls, keep things quiet. It was a dead-end job, literally. My boss told me it'd be peaceful, just old folks with one foot out the door. No drama, no chaos. He wasn't wrong about the no drama part, but he didn't mention the screaming. It started on a Thursday. I remember because the sky had this strange orange tint when I drove in, like wildfire light, but there were no fires reported, just clouds, heavy and low. 2:47 a.m. I was at the desk, halfway through a terrible sandwich when I heard it. A scream, not a startled yelp or a cry for help. A full-throated, lung-emptying scream of raw terror. It came from the intercom, the little speaker mounted on the wall just above the desk. Each room had one. If a patient pressed their call button, I could talk to them, check in, get help if they fell or forgot their meds. This scream came from room 6. But room 6 was supposed to be empty. Mr. Alden had lived in 6. Quiet man, ex-fireman, loved crosswords and jazz. He died 3 weeks earlier. Massive stroke. Peaceful, they said. I helped move his belongings. Locked the room. Logged it on my sheet. No one had been placed there since. I froze, sandwich halfway in my mouth, as the scream ripped through the intercom. It lasted maybe 7 seconds. Then silence. Just as I started to stand, the intercom crackled again, a softest like breath over a wire. Then a whisper, almost inaudible. Do not come to the room. My skin went cold. Not goosebumps. I mean cold. Like blood temp drop. I stood there for a moment, staring at the speaker like it might say something else. Then I grabbed the master keys and walked the hallway. 10 doors on either side, all closed, all silent. Room 6 was at the far end, the corner unit, just past the medication closet. I saw the door before I reached it. It was open, only slightly, but open. It shouldn't have been. I hadn't unlocked it. No one should have touched it. There was no reason for it to be. A soft creak echoed as it moved a hair wider, like it knew I was there. My hand trembled as I pushed the door fully open. Darkness inside. No nightlight. No ceiling light. I reached for the switch. Nothing. The bulbs were dead, or the wires were cut. I couldn't tell. I used the flashlight on my phone. The bed was neatly made. Not a wrinkle in the sheet. No indent in the pillow. But the air was wrong. Not just musty or stale. It felt thick. Heavy, like stepping into a room with too many people. But there was no one there, except in the corner, across from bed, stood the wall mirror, and it was turned backward. Every room had a mounted mirror that faced the bed. It was part of facility guidelines, something about helping patients recognize themselves upon waking. But this mirror, it was facing the wall. I walked toward it. The air got colder the closer I got. When I reached it, I placed my fingers on the frame and slowly turned it back around. My reflection blinked into view, and behind me, a man, tall, gaunt, pale skin that looked half rotted. He stood just behind my left shoulder, one hand resting at his side. His face, it wasn't right. It was as if someone had sliced it vertically down the center and peeled both halves slightly apart. No nose, no eyes, just deep, black gaps behind flaps of skin. I turned around fast. Nothing there. But in the mirror, he was still standing behind me, and now he was smiling. My scream caught in my throat. I stumbled back, hit the doorframe, and then the intercom crackled again. The speaker on the wall lit up just like it had at the desk, and the voice that came through was distorted, layered, male and female, young and old. You looked at me. Now I wear your fear. Now I remember. I ran, out of the room, down the hallway, past the flickering light over room 4. I slammed myself behind the desk and hit the emergency alarm. Nothing happened. The phone had no dial tone. The CCTV feed? Static. All of it dead, except the intercom. It lit up again. Room 6. Do not scream, the voice said. He likes when you scream. I stayed behind the desk the rest of the night, curled up in the chair with the flashlight pointed at the hallway. Every so often, the intercom would activate again, but the voice changed each time. One was Mr. Alden's. Another was a woman who had died months before. I recognized a voice from intake logs. Another one was me, not current me, but a recording of something I hadn't said yet. He's still wearing me, it whispered, and soon he'll wear you too. At 5:42 a.m., the power flickered back on. The phone buzzed. Lights returned. The CCTV feed reset, but room 6 showed only shadows. I didn't move until morning staff arrived at 7 o'clock. They found me shaking behind the desk, unable to speak. They told me there had been no intercom activity on the logs, no patient calls, no signs of forced entry or power failure. The mirror? Back to normal. Room 6? Locked. No one believed me, but the charge nurse, Carla, said something before I left. You're not the first one to see something in room 6. Then she walked away. I quit the next day, told them I was done with night shifts, with empty rooms, with intercoms. I took a job at a bookstore downtown. More light, more people, no mirrors. But the thing is, I don't think I ever left it behind. It started small. Reflections in windows that weren't quite right. Smiles that lasted a second too long. A twitch that didn't match what I was doing. One night, I caught my reflection blinking after I did. Another time, I walked past a store display and saw myself standing still, even as I kept walking. But the worst was the mirror in my apartment. I had covered it with a towel. Didn't even want to see myself. But one night, the towel was gone. I don't remember removing it, but the mirror was exposed, and drawn on the glass, in steam or breath or something wetter, were 3 words. You looked once, and beneath it a slit, vertical, drawn like a mouth without lips. It dripped. Now I hear him in my dreams. Sometimes he talks like me, sometimes like Alden. Sometimes he just screams until my ears bleed, and I always wake up staring at my reflection, but it's never quite mine anymore. The mouth is stretched, the skin's too loose, and the smile is hungry. They say there are places where reality is thin, where grief, death, and memory rub the world raw. Old rooms, forgotten beds, hallways no one walks anymore. They say you should never look into mirrors in places like that, because sometimes a reflection isn't just a trick of light. Sometimes it remembers. Sometimes it answers when you scream. And sometimes it follows you home. I live alone. Small apartment. 2nd floor. Quiet. No roommates. No pets. But for 3 nights straight, I've heard someone walking around while I'm in bed. Soft footsteps. Kitchen cabinets opening. Low murmurs. Almost like prayer. Every time I get up to check. Nothing. No one. And yet the feeling doesn't leave. Like something's still in the room. Watching. Waiting. Breathing. It started the day I found the note. Just a piece of yellowed paper slipped under my door. No name. No return address. All it said was, "Do not enter the walls." That was it, in shaky handwriting. Black ink, smudged, almost bleeding into the paper. At first I thought it was a prank. Old building, weird neighbors, maybe someone being cute. But that night, the walking started, and the whispering. There's a small hall closet in my apartment. Narrow. I use it for coats and a broken vacuum. But 2 nights ago, I found it locked, which made no sense. It has no lock. I didn't install one. I didn't shut it. I didn't even touch it. But it was locked. And I swear to God, I heard whispering inside it. Just for a second. Just one voice. Muffled. And then the sound of chewing. I went to the landlord the next day. He said, "You're in 2B, right?" I nodded. He looked at me for too long, then asked, "You didn't go in the walls, did you?" I told him no. He nodded again. Too fast. Too relieved. Then he gave me a folder. Inside it was a copy of a police report. Someone had died in my apartment. A woman, back in 2003. Her name was Claire Mathis, age 24. She was found in the closet. No signs of forced entry. No wounds. Dead. But the report said something strange. Subject's eyes removed. No blood. No defensive wounds. No known cause of death. That night, I dreamed of Claire. She stood in the kitchen, her back turned to me, humming, but her head twitched every few seconds. Too fast, too jerky, and her feet weren't touching the floor, just hanging. When I tried to speak, she turned around, but instead of eyes, there were deep black holes. Her mouth was sewn shut. She pointed to the closet. Then I woke up, but I was standing in the hallway, right in front of that closet, and the door was open. The air inside felt wrong. It was cold, but not like a breeze, more like something dead. The back wall of the closet was slightly open, like a hidden door had been pushed inward, and behind it, a space, maybe 5 feet wide, a narrow crawl area, old wood, rotting insulation, dried something splattered on the wall. In the corner, a journal, black leather, covered in dust. Inside, the pages were full, written in dark red ink, Claire's handwriting, page after page of the same sentence. He lives between walls. He feeds on thought. He wears the faces of the dead. Every page, hundreds of them. The last page was different, written in sharp, blocky letters. Don't think about him. Don't name him. Don't try to understand him. But if you want to see him, there was a symbol drawn beneath it, circles, arrows, a stitched eye in the middle. I traced it with my finger, and that's when the screaming started. Not outside, not in my head, inside the walls. Screaming from all sides, like dozens of voices, screaming from inside the apartment itself. The lights blew out. The air got thick. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I could feel something moving behind the drywall, scratching, crawling. Then I saw him. He stepped out of the wall. Tall, gaunt, no skin, just red, glistening muscle, like anatomy class. But his eyes weren't right. He had Claire's eyes, brown, wide, familiar, and someone else's mouth. Too large, too sharp. He didn't walk, he dragged himself. His voice was layered, male and female, child and old man. You found the door. You thought of me. Now I stay. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. He tilted his head, sniffed the air. Then he smiled. Your thoughts are delicious. When I woke up, everything was normal. Lights on, closet closed, journal gone. I checked my phone. One new video. No title. 12 minutes long. It was footage from inside my apartment. Camera angle from the ceiling. But I don't have a camera. I watched. It was me, sleeping. Then the closet door opened, slowly, and he crawled out, the man without skin. He stood over me, tilted his head, reached down, but never touched me, just watched for 12 minutes, and crawled back into the closet. I can't see my reflection anymore. Not fully. There's always something behind me, half seen, and sometimes I move when I'm not moving, a blink out of sync, a twitch I don't feel. Sometimes my reflection smiles when I don't, and sometimes it's not me in the mirror at all. Sometimes it's Claire. I confronted him. I showed him the video. He didn't react, didn't blink, just said, "You opened the door. You played your part. Now he's part of you." I asked him why no one ever warned me. He just smiled. You can't warn what's already doomed. Then he walked away. The hallway lights flickered, and for a moment, I saw someone else inside his skin. Now I hear it constantly, breathing, inside the vents, behind the walls, under the floorboards. Sometimes, Blood drips from the light fixtures. Sometimes, my name appears on the bathroom mirror, spelled backward. I haven't slept in 4 days. I don't know if this is real, but I do know one thing. He's still here. He's not hiding anymore. He walks in my apartment now. He watches me when I eat. He whispers when I try to pray. And he says he's almost done building his new skin. I wore her face. I'll wear yours next. We are learning you. We are hungry. And now you belong to the walls.